The Clever Rabbit and the Cunning Tiger. Deep in the jungle, a clever rabbit named Rufi, a mischievous monkey called Kiki, and a fierce tiger named Zoran lived. Zoran, being the strongest, often bullied the smaller animals, demanding they bring him food every day. One day it was Rufi's turn to bring food to Zoran, but instead of accepting his fate, Rufi hatched a plan. He approached Kiki and whispered his idea. Kiki's eyes sparkled with mischief as he nodded eagerly. Rufi went to Zoran and said, "Oh, great tiger, I was bringing you food when I saw another tiger in the lake, claiming to be stronger than you." Zoran roared, "Stronger than me? Impossible. Show me this imposter." Rufi led Zoran to a deep lake and pointed at the water. "There he is." Zoran looked down and saw his own reflection. Enraged, he pounced at the other tiger, plunging straight into the lake. But the water was deep, and Zoran struggled to swim. Seeing his chance, Kiki dropped a vine into the water and pulled Rufi to safety, while Zoran thrashed helplessly. From that day on, Zoran learned humility, and the jungle animals were free from his tyranny. Moral of the story is, intelligence and teamwork can outwit even the strongest opponent.